Hi, Jeremy the Tall Trainer here, and I wanted to ask you, are you living in a rat park or a rat trap? Interesting question, and this question may describe our first apartment maybe, but, but it has more to do with where we're at right now. So the original experiment, rats were placed into an empty cage alone and given unlimited access to self-injected heroin. Surprise, surprise, the rats became heavily addicted to the point of death. So that seems horrible. That doesn't seem fair at all. And that's kind of what Bruce Alexander thought here, too. He said severely distressed animals, like severely distressed people, will relieve their distress pharmacologically if they can. And so the reason why they came across these experiments in the first place was guys were coming back from Vietnam on some really heavy drugs, and some of them never shook it, and some of them just shook it so easy. They just got right back to life and never used those drugs again. And so they go, what is the deal with that? So they started studying how these massively addictive drugs work. And I would say, the severely distressed animals, like severely distressed people, will relieve their distress pharmacologically. I'd also say foodicologically, if they can. So food sometimes is one of our coping mechanisms. We use food, to pacify us, to make ourselves feel better sometimes. And so experiment number two, he said, well, okay, that's unfair, the first experiment. What if the rats had awesome lives? Would they still choose the drugs? So what they did is they created a rat park with everything that the rats would want. Both sexes, lots of room to explore, little balls to play with, toys, things like that, running wheels, space to mate, raise a litter, two-car garage, white picket fence, a boat, whatever. All those things that a rat likes. So they studied them really well and got the stuff they really would like to do in there. And what they did is opiates were still available. So they had two water bottles. One had sugar water laced with morphine, and the other one had just water. And so the rats in the rat park showed no signs of opiate addiction. So they didn't abuse the sugar and morphine water. They actually stuck more to the regular water. And okay, so they're not going to start, but what if they're already addicted? If they're already addicted, there's no way they're going to stop. So what they did is they took some rats for 57 days in solitude, so solitary confinement with just morphine. So they got addicted. It was really boring, and so they did a lot of morphine, in there. They drank mostly that morphine water. When they brought them back to the rat park, they actually found that the rats would shed their addiction, even though they still went through withdrawal symptoms. So that's amazing. That's amazing. So if the environment is right, you don't need to lean on the addiction as much. What can we do about this? Change your cage. We as humans live in a cage of our own design. So our choices that we've made have brought us to the point that we are currently at. And so whether we're in a cage or in a park, we've kind of set it up for ourselves. And so we can make other choices to maybe make it a little bit more park-like for ourselves as well. So the idea is, the way to do that is sit down and you're going to write down some of your obstacles, some of your challenges that you come across. So the things that are stressing you out, things that are getting in the way of your ideal life, the things that you'd like to do. And so write those down, take a moment, sit down, get quiet, and let it be awkward a little bit, and let yourself have time to think of these. And I'm going to give yourself like a half hour to do that. And then after that half hour is think through whether you can bag it, barter it, or bargain it. So what does that mean? So bag it is let it go or get rid of it. So if you're doing something that maybe doesn't even need to happen and it's stressing you out, maybe let it go. So maybe you have a irregularly high cleaning standards, so you're buffing the floor with toothbrushes or something to get it that super clean. Is maybe you gotta let it go, so you can have more of the life that you want, have more time there. So maybe there's things that you don't have to be doing, and so can you bag it? Can you get rid of it? Barter it. So this is trade it or delegate it. And so for me, my rat cage would be trying to work on my own car. I'm not good at it. I feel really incompetent doing it, and it takes me lots of time. It takes me a while to do that kind of stuff, and I don't have the right tools. So it's just annoying. So I would rather use a barter type system where I pay someone to fix my vehicle. They have the tools. They have all the dirtiness on there. They're not really transitioning in and out of working on that, so they get it done a lot faster. And it doesn't make them say any push-up words or anything like that for it. So you barter. Can you trade it or delegate it to somebody else? Can somebody else do it for you? So get rid of those ones. Now sometimes you can't get rid of it. So it's something that needs to get done. You can't barter it. It's you that has to do it. But maybe you can better it. Is there a way to make it more pleasurable? So exercise is an excellent example of that. So a lot of people hate doing exercise. You can't bag it. You won't stay healthy if you get rid of exercise. You try that and it goes, okay, I can't get rid of it. I need to do some. You can't barter it. You can't get somebody else to exercise and you get the benefits. That doesn't work out that way. So you need to do it. Is there a way to make it more pleasurable? And we've done that with our program. Is you get around other people that are pretty cool. You get some good music going. You get lots of variety in the workouts, and you have a little bit of fun while you're doing the exercise. So you find a way to make it better. And so other areas in your life, is there a way to make that thing that is making you stressed out, that's making it awful, is there a way to make it better? Can you add a social element to it? Can you combine it with something that you like to do so that way it's not quite so bad? So work on some of those things. So this is really a personal activity. So write down those obstacles and then think through them. Maybe you can get yourself closer to your rat park life. And if you're in that rat park life more, then you don't have to reach for your coping mechanism, which might be food. And so you won't be eating to satisfy a need that you have. You'll actually feel great, and you won't be tempted to fill yourself up with food, which will actually get you to lose weight, stay thin, and feel great and healthy. So consider that. So hopefully you can get yourself out of the cage and more into the park. So this is Jeremy Beer saying, have fun, be safe.